Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be able to talk to you today just about the benefits of automation and, the acceleration of efficiency on the back of that. The latest and greatest in automation, I think we've all heard of today, ChatGPT. There's about 1 million users a day. I think it's up to 100 million users on ChatGPT already. So I tried to get ChatGPT to help me prepare and deliver this presentation. But as you're saying just a bit before, Ronnie, it's probably worthwhile having a backup when you're using automation, because if you look at the response I had from ChatGPT, it was pretty much down at the time as everybody else was also using it. So look, in terms of automation, there are many benefits to automation, as you can see there on the slide. And today I'm going to just try and provide some really practical examples of how we're seeing automation benefit companies in our client base at Commerce Vision, as well as practical ways to implement automation in your businesses. My definition of automation is really about using technology to do repetitive and manual work that machines can do, and in these days that artificial intelligence can do, and to then allow humans to focus on the higher order problems and the higher value work as well. So in that sort of context, automation can really be used to streamline processes and then reduce errors. And so reduction in errors is really, really important, and increase productivity as well. And so then, as I say, allowing the humans to be freed up to focus on important parts, important processes such as customer service, customer intimacy, dealing with complexity that the machines can't manage. And so, if you look back over the last few years, and especially with COVID, automation really became critical to the success of a business, because especially through the COVID time, if you weren't able to leverage technology and sort of take this more digital first approach, you would have struggled to service your customers, especially if you're in a B2C or even B2B land where you couldn't get people out to interact with other humans. So a lot of businesses had to very quickly go to this digital first approach, which really means if I have a challenge in my business, to look at using technology to satisfy that, rather than looking at humans to run that automation or to actually solve that business problems. And if you use the automation, you take a digital first approach, really what you're doing is you're allowing customers to engage with your business to self-serve in the way that they engage with you, which is and not having to tie up your teams in customer engagements, or for the people inside the business also to remove dependency on other humans inside the business to process orders for them, or move data around, or remove blockages, etc. So as I say, during COVID, there's really no choice but to go digital first. And as you can see in this research from Forrester, about 70% of B2B buyers reported an increased use in online marketplaces during the pandemic, and in fact found that 53% of buyers, business buyers, preferred researching goods and orders online, getting the information they needed online, and actually placing their orders online rather than dealing with a salesperson. And in the first year of the pandemic, that actually went from 53% up to 68%. So the reality is really no one is going back to the old manual ways of working, and businesses that implemented digital first technologies, such as an e-commerce platform to engage with their customers, they really did that during the pandemic. They're really starting to double down on that technology. They've got a taste of what it can do for their business, like the significant impact on efficiency and returns in their business, the ability to scale their businesses and control their costs. And so businesses are now looking to continue to automate. And automation can take many forms. That can include things like integrating a front-end solution, like a sort of a e-commerce solution, to a back-end solution, like an ERP platform, automation around sort of collections, marketing platforms, anything that automates these repetitive and manual tasks. And so there are a lot of benefits to taking a digital first and automation approach. A couple of facts over here in terms of research, in terms of the benefits of automation. Accenture found that companies that implement automation see an average increase in productivity of 30%, which is massive. Another one that is really significant is that McKinsey found that companies that adopt digital technologies are 26% more profitable than businesses that don't take their focus. Forrester found that you can reduce your sales and admin costs by up to 15% if you focus on sort of your B2B or B2C e-commerce. And Digital Commerce 360 found that manufacturers who then adopt e-commerce platforms here an average increase in sales of 25%. So there's significant data points to really support the hypothesis that going digital first and automation and adopting technologies to do those repetitive tasks and the integration side of things, is very, very significant for a business, allowing them to really improve their productivity and reduce their costs and increase their sales and increase their customer service. And we've really seen this as Commerce Vision. So time and time again across our customer base, they'll take the ERP as the sort of foundational back-end tools, so such as MYOB EXO, integrate our tools like our e-commerce platform or our sales order automation tools, and they can really just dramatically drive their growth and their scale and contain their costs. So it's really common for our customers to go through a process when they sort of start with us of maybe having 20% of their revenue and their order acquisition processed automatically through their e-commerce systems and their order automation tools, and move from 20% being processed automatically, therefore 80% being processed by customer service staff manually, to as much as 80% of all their revenue and all their orders being processed automatically and 20% manually. And you can imagine the benefits in their scale and cost control when they do that. And it's probably more important than ever that we need to be able to control our costs while we look for growth, because we're moving into challenging times. Sorry, just an inbound call. In terms of 2023, with the way that interest rates have been being raised by the Reserve Bank in Australia, also New Zealand, I think the Reserve Bank on Tuesday raised interest rates for the 10th consecutive time. We're in an era where the sort of easy money times of the last sort of 15 years or post the global financial crisis and the very low interest rates there, easy money times have really gone. They're really behind us, and we now have a time of increasing inflation, which means increasing wage inflation, increasing cost inputs of materials, and also post-pandemic supply chain disruptions means that businesses aren't necessarily able to pass on the increase in their cost directly to their customers in a B2B or B2C environment, which means that gross margins and profit margins in businesses are getting squeezed, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Deloitte did a study showing exactly that, and that B2B manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors are really intending to accelerate digital transformation in order to manage to do more with less. Because in doing more with less, it's not about having just less staff. That is about trying to scale the business and grow and optimize, but contain your cost base at the same time as you do that. And so, businesses that don't focus on becoming more efficient and more productive by optimizing the technology and sort of taking this automation approach and the digital first approach, if they don't really focus on doing these sorts of things and they don't adapt and scale, they are going to really be outcompeted by competitors who actually are automation adopters. So it is critical that one does realize in times of compressed margins as we have now, that we do need to do more with less by investing in our technology. And so, where might you start in terms of this sort of investment? my approach is really to be pragmatic. Start with a basic process like your entire procure to pay process, which is your buying of all your goods, or your sell side, your order to cash process, and map the flow of the process, sort of staple yourself to a sales order, say, and see the way it works through the process, and look for the potential for things to go wrong as they move from function to function or department to department, and look for initially low-hanging fruit to get the ball rolling. So if you can have quick wins as you go through the process, you really build belief in your team and you build momentum around the effort. So in particular, where you can find people doing repetitive work, especially where it might involve re-entering information from one system to another, or where they're running Excel sheets outside of the core systems, look for digital solutions to automate that kind of work and integrate the data seamlessly between systems is another core area of automation and efficiency gain. And, there's probably a massive opportunity in your business as well as, in general, just release constraints in your value chains of your business and and to be able to automate and industrialize processes. And a way to go even further than that is to consider how you bring your suppliers' processes or your customer processes into an automated and integrated process flow with yourself. An example of that is a customer of ours who is a massive supplier in the dental market. So they supply dental surgeries, dentists, with everything that a dentist needs to use. What they've done is they've used a module of our e-commerce platform called inventory management to actually give their customers a stock take function, where their customer, who's the dentist, in the stock room of the dentist, the nurse, whoever's doing the stock take, once a week, they'll go through all their sort of bin locations in their stock room, and they'll do a replenishment order using the inventory management function from our e-commerce platform. The dental, whoever's doing that stock take will actually be able to check the stock levels, set up a unique sort of floor plan, check the stock levels in every bin, and do a replenishment order. But the module they're using to do that is being provided to them by their supplier, who's using our platform to do that, of course. So the supplier has integrated the customer's own stock take function into their actual supply process. So when the customer does their stock take, they work out what they want, all those goods seamlessly move through that e-commerce platform into the ordering system and into the ERP of the supplier. So that's a great example of not just looking to automate your own system and industrialize your own platforms, but actually include your customers' processes or your supplier processes into your processes in a way that seamlessly allows the businesses to trade together, removes friction from the trading cycle, and creates massive efficiencies for the supplier, as well as the customer in this case. But also you can imagine the benefits to the supplier of not only having that happen where their customers' orders are automatically coming into the system, but in this case, the supplier can actually see what the customer is ordering from other suppliers, because they don't supply everything the customer uses. And when they see what their customer is buying from other suppliers, which creates sort of a PDF order that goes off to the other suppliers, then in this case, those are their competitors. They're able to see exactly what their customers are ordering from their competitors, which is a fantastic feature and a very innovative use of automation and taking a digital first approach and integrating your customers' processes into your processes. So there's an opportunity there to also look at this sort of what we call swivel chair integration. And swivel chair integration is the idea of your team, for example, taking information in one system and sort of swiveling their chair to enter it into your back-end ERP system. And a good example of that is that there's information in your customers' ordering systems. They might be using an ERP system like Exo themselves to work out how much it is they need to order from their different suppliers. And once they've done their own replenishment ordering, they'll sort of press a button and that will send all their orders, typically as an email, as a PDF and an email off to all their different suppliers. And then the customer service staff at the suppliers will receive all these emails and sit there and punch all those orders into their ERP system. That's what we call swivel chair integration. We can therefore, we can use a tool like our Lucy sales order automation tool, for example, to automatically enter all those customer orders directly into the ERP from the emails by checking what's in the ERP, making sure that the order is accurate. And a great example here is a customer of ours called Royal Foods, who's in the food services industry. So in food service, what's very important when the hotels and restaurants are sending in their orders every night to the food service supplier, that the next day all the produce turns up and is what's known as delivered in full on time to the restaurant or hotel for their next day's service. So Royal Foods used to have their customer service staff come into the warehouse at 3 a.m. every day to pick up the orders that had come in overnight from the restaurants, enter those orders into their ERP system so that when the warehouse staff arrived, the warehouse staff were able to start picking, packing straight away. So when the trucks arrived at 6 a.m., the goods are ready for dispatch. Implementing an automation system like our Lucy order entry tool enables those orders to go directly into the back-end ERP without any humans turning up at 3 a.m. in the morning to enter those in. They go in seamlessly no matter what time those orders came in. And the goods are ready for picking, packing, dispatching at 6 a.m. the next day, just through the benefits of automation. So a massive benefit to people like Royal Foods who need to deliver in full on time the next day. Another example here is with another practical example is Kinchrome. In our case, our Lucy sales order automation tool enters something like 27,000 order lines per month for Kinchrome from emails coming in. So the PDFs and the emails coming in automatically entered into Kinchrome's system by Lucy, allowing their customer service folks to spend a lot more time providing technical information to their customers, helping their customers with strategic inquiries, and doing a lot more value-added and proactive and productive work than simply keying orders into a system. So as I say, Lucy, we have a customer last month that had 100,000 order lines entered into their system by Lucy. So, businesses really are always looking for ways to create competitive advantage. And this is, adopting this sort of automation allows those businesses to really optimize their technology platforms and grow and scale their businesses in, as I say, tougher economic times. It's the way to do it. We have a number of very powerful B2B omni-channel solutions at Commerce Vision. Our CV e-commerce platform is a great example. It's a very comprehensive, integrated B2B e-commerce platform that solves all the complexity around the way B2B businesses trade between each other, and handling all the complexity of sort of pricing arrangements, pricing agreements, quantity breaks, units of measure conversions, etc. Our Lucy tool, that's our e-commerce platform. Lucy will automate inbound orders on behalf, orders coming in through emails, which can be, hundreds of thousands of lines of orders getting entered automatically each month. And our Opmetrics mobile CRM platform allows salespeople going out to their customers to optimize their engagement with their customers in store, take all those orders in store, again, automatically push them into the back end solution. So look, there is a lot of change in the world in 2023. Demographics are changing consistently. And actually, right as we speak, Commerce Vision is running a webinar with Bernard Salt, who's Australia's preeminent demographer, about the changes in, sort of in the economic conditions and the changing demographics in Australia and New Zealand. You're all welcome to register for that webinar. It is happening today, but if you go to our sort of landing page, if you go to commercevision.com.au and you sort of go down the main page, you'll find the link to the Bernard Salt webinar. Please feel free to go and put your name and details in there. And even though the webinar is going on right now, you'll be able to download and access the recording of that webinar if you're interested in what Bernard has to say, which is fascinating content. So finally, just to wrap up, As I've been saying, as we go through, taking a digital first approach, doubling down on the technology, really, really important, allowing humans to really focus on a higher order value-added tasks, taking the mundane and the repetitive out of the workday for the humans, integrating systems in a way that data flows seamlessly to avoid that swivel chair integration, and even integrating your customer and or your supplier processes into your process to allow for frictionless B2B trading. So, automation, I think it is super important to look at how you implement that in a very pragmatic way in your business. So thank you very much. Hopefully that helps with some practical examples of how you might implement integration or automation, and some of the examples we've seen amongst our customer base. Please go and register for the Burnout Solved webinar if you'd like to find out more information about that. And so that is it from me.